I want to begin with a pointed observation from Andre Valdencius, WI8GW, who says, there's a very good article in today's Observer by John Simpson about Tommy Robinson's sources of income. That's Yaxley Lennon. And Robert Schulman, the tech billionaire, is probably the most important. He also funds Katie Hopkins. He is a great advocate for the IDF and supports the Israeli government as well as US policy in the Middle East. There's David Horowitz's Freedom Center, which is an extremely important conduit for the funding of far-right groupings, not just in the USA and UK, but also across the continent. Without the backing of these usually US-based billionaires, Robinson would be a Luton-based street corner agitator of no importance. The quotation sets the stage. Robinson and Hopkins are not self-financed mavericks scraping funds from British loyalists. They are beneficiaries of a well-developed pipeline of US-based wealth. As we saw back in 2017 or so, The Guardian did a piece on Tommy's funding system. Robert Schulman, Dr. Bob, is a tech billionaire, MIT graduate and longtime supporter of the Israeli Defense Forces. His money transformed Robinson in 2017 from an English Defence League demagogue into a self-styled citizen journalist. And through Rebel Media, now Rebel News, he received a fellowship worth $5,000 over a year. Katie Hopkins followed with a Schulman-backed fellowship to make her film on the supposed white genocide in South Africa, a conspiracy theory later debunked but repeated in the Trump White House. And this mechanism professionalized their activism, turning Robinson into a polished brand, and gave Hopkins a new platform after she had been effectively deplatformed in Britain. The David Horowitz Freedom Center, based in California, styled itself as a school for political welfare. It provided further fellowships for Robinson, Hopkins, and allies like Rahim Kassam and Laura Loomer. The Middle East Forum, the MEF, chipped in $47,000 to pay Robinson's legal bills and even the stage for his Old Bailey rally in 2018. The Gateston Institute, funded in part by the Mercer family, pumped out a stream of pro-Robinson articles, and this shows an ideological ecosystem, money platforms, legal defence and propaganda all converging on a single British figurehead. Robinson claims poverty but has found support from Elon Musk, who allegedly helped cover legal fees, and more importantly, Musk gave him digital oxygen by reinstating his Twitter account. According to the Centre for Countering Digital Hate, Musk has earned millions from reinstating such controversial voices. Robinson, with 1.5 million followers, continues to thrive in this monetized outrage economy. Katie Hopkins has followed a similar trajectory. Schulman funded her through Rebel News. Her international conspiracist career was underwritten by the same network. Her South Africa documentary fitted the Trump-era paranoia about immigration and white replacement theories. And like Robinson, she operates less as a British commentator and more as a node in a transatlantic far-right web. Yet, does this financial ecosystem touch others? Like, for example, Katie Hopkins' friend Alex Belfield. The answer is, well, not directly via Schulman fellowships, but the mode is parallel. Belfield's rise relied on small donor crowdfunding and YouTube monetization and a network of right-wing sympathizers amplifying his voice. Unlike Robinson and Hopkins, he was not adopted by US billionaire patrons, yet the same dynamic is visible. Grievance monetized into a lifestyle and supporters encouraged to bankroll free speech crusades. These finances bleed into politics. Farage, as reported in the Sunday Times, failed to register who bankrolled his trip to Florida for a Trump fundraiser. Top-tier tables cost $25,000, as Daisy Cooper MP remarked, and Farage needs to come clean on who's bankrolling his trips abroad to badmouth Britain. When one sees Robinson supported by Schulman, Hopkins by Rebel Media, and Farage appearing at Trump donor dinners, the pattern is unmistakable. Foreign money underwriting a nationalist rhetoric that pretends to be homegrown. The Sunday Times uncovered Robinson's web of companies, making £1.6 million profit without paying tax and filing for insolvency. His debts to HMRC exceed £328,000 allegedly. He's not faced enforcement action. Instead, he uses insolvency practitioners to wipe the slate clean. It's a double game. The man who claims poverty before the court simultaneously lives on US stipends and dodges UK tax obligations. Well, if he can make it work, I suppose I take my hat off to him. Funding fascism is expensive. Robinson's marches, Hopkins' films, and their online influence are not spontaneous eruptions of public anger. They are curated, subsidised, and packaged by wealthy benefactors with their own agenda. As Andrei Valdensius reminds us, he who pays the piper calls the tune. But what Katie Hopkins has called me in the past, and Tommy Robinson, I have friends who think he's a very nice fellow, and I don't want to join this bandwagon of saying that Tommy Robinson and Katie Hopkins are bad people, but I think they are people who have been led into a circle that is very much controlled from outside the country. That's what I find so disturbing, and their followers seem to be hell-bent on saying, this is about freedom of voice, but freedom of voice, which is controlled and bankrolled from outside the UK. The Shulmans, the Mercers, the Musks of this world don't care about Luton or Clacton. They care about advancing their cultural wars, their foreign policy agenda, and their business interests. Strip away the money, and Robinson would indeed be a pub corner agitator. With the money, he becomes an international brand. Katie Hopkins, once reduced to shock jock obscurity, is reborn as a global conspiracist. The question for Britain is not simply what Robinson and Hopkins say, but who pays them to say it, and what those patrons want in return.